Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk with Seattle Seahawks coach John Glenn joining us right now. Well, John, great to talk with you every summer, and I'm sure you're really excited about another great year there in Seattle.
Well, yes, it is certainly great to talk with you again. We're certainly excited about another good year, hopefully, and we're just getting ready to get this thing going, and we're ready to rock.
Well, you get a few days off in the summer. I'm sure you cherish every moment you possibly can with your family, and let's talk a little bit about that growing family of yours.
Absolutely. So I got two boys now, and we're actually on a little bit of a road trip down here in Southern California. We're actually stopped off at a little taco stand right now, just enjoying the sunshine and the ocean and the whole Southern California lifestyle right now before we head back and get going for training camp. So definitely growing. It's good to have two boys, Nate and Luke, and my wife Lee certainly does an incredible job raising them, and just so blessed and thankful for them.
And for you to coach in the NFL has got to be, I'm sure you stop every so often and say, hey, man, I'm actually doing this, and another year under your belt. So how many years now in Seattle?
This will be my 7th year in the city and my 5th year with the Seahawks. So I spent 2 years at the University of Washington, and then, this is year number 5 with the Seahawks. So I'm certainly, every year I pinch myself, and I'm so incredibly thankful for our organization, our GM, John Schneider, our head coach, Coach Carroll. It's just an incredible organization to be a part of, and they do such a tremendous job. And like I said, it's just a dream come true for me. So I'll keep coming to work as long as they'll keep having me,
Well, talk a little bit about your role over the years and, fine-tuning some things, and I'm sure you're learning a little bit more each and every year. You're pretty much expecting a similar role to what you had last year in the coaching staff?
Yeah. So, I started off as a assistant special teams coach, kind of got my foot in the door there, got a chance to work for one of the best special teams coordinators in the NFL for Brian Schneider. Spent 2 years doing that. And then I got a chance to move over to defense and take the quality control position. I got a chance to learn under now head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator for the Oakland Raiders, Kenny Norton. So, and from then I've moved on to they've given me a defensive assistant role, and I get a chance to work with the linebackers. And I'm just so incredibly jacked up and happy to be a part of such a great crew. Our linebackers coach, Michael Barrow, played in the NFL for 13-plus seasons. Our other assistant linebacker coach, Lofa Tatupo, played at Southern Cal, second-round draft pick by the Seahawks. So just to get a chance to learn and to work with those guys, and then along with our players, the Bobby Wagners, the KJ Wrights, the Mike Morgans, to have an opportunity to be around those guys each and every day, you just can't help but learn a tremendous amount about ball. So it's a total awesome environment, and I'm just jacked to be there.
Well, you talk about those people that surround you, just in that linebacker family, as you mentioned. You're like, what am I doing here with all these guys? And you got a pretty nice resume back in the day yourself, but to be around those guys, I'm sure, as you said, that energy is so good, and you just want to be contributing like you have been there at the Seattle Seahawks.
Absolutely, and like I said, to get a chance to work with these guys and to be around our linebackers, you pinch yourself every day, and you wonder, hey, I'm a little kid from Lackawanna Trail High School and played at East Stroudsburg, and I'm getting an opportunity to rub elbows with some pretty famous people and some pretty darn good football players. So I'm certainly excited, and I'm just trying to do the best that I can, and I think I learn more from them than they probably learn from me. So I'm just trying to continue to grow and just continue to do my part to make our organization as successful as it can be.
John, if you can, and not that you're giving away any trade secrets, so to speak, but can you take us through a typical day as John Glenn, maybe
Sure.
one of the days in a training camp, and then maybe we'll move on to one of the days in the regular season?
Absolutely. Well, training camp is because you have what we do is we'll have a walkthrough at night, and then we practice at 10 o'clock in the morning so we can practice in front of our fans. So a typical training day is pretty hectic because you're not only preparing for the meetings that go along with it, but you got an early practice, you've got meetings after practice, then you've got your install meeting before your walkthrough, Then you've got the walkthrough, and then you have to prepare for the next day. So training camp's a little hectic, as it is for every football coach. For us, I love getting into the season because you just get into your mode where it's just press repeat, and you get into your schedule. Like for me, a typical week, we play the game on Sunday, and then I start immediately after the game. So a lot of my role is I do a lot of scouting for the next week's opponent. That's kind of my niche. So my week starts as soon as the game's over with. I try to spend about an hour and a half with my family, and then I go to work usually about 8:30 at night for a home game, or if it's an away game, whenever we get off the plane. And I'll just work 24 hours straight. And my wife sometimes thinks I'm crazy, but I'll leave at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then I'll get home on Monday night at about 10, and she thinks I'm nuts. And then it starts to slow down. Like Tuesday's the player's off day. So you kind of got a little lull there where you can kind of get some good work done, and we're starting to put together the game plan, put together everything. And then Wednesday, it's time to go. You know, it's time the players come back on Wednesday. We'll practice. Thursday is much like a Wednesday. Friday, everything gears down, and you start preparing for Sunday. Saturday is your final walkthrough, and it's go time. You know, so my busiest days are probably Sunday. I always say to myself, if I can make it to Tuesday night, I'm good. From then on, it's easy street for me.
So those crazy sleeping patterns, man, how do you keep going? Talk about that energy you have. And obviously you hear it coming through the phone that you do have a lot of energy, but
sure.
Just trying to be ready to go, I guess, all the time, huh?
Well, I think I'm very fortunate that in Seattle we have some very, very good coffee. You know, so I'm very, very fortunate in that. But I think it's the love of the sport, it's the love of the competition, it's the love of the organization, all that stuff. You know, like I said, Coach Carroll and John Schneider from the top down have made this work environment so great to be a part of that you're just energized being in the building. And it's crazy. As I sit here looking at the ocean, at the Pacific Ocean, you know, on a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in California, I miss ball. I can't wait to get back. And it's that environment that they create that just gives you the natural energy to want to keep going. To when you start to feel a little low, you just keep pushing it. And that and a little help from good, strong Seattle coffee. So, but it's a blast to be a part of it.
John, I know as engulfed and entrenched you are in the Seattle Seahawks organization, bigger goals or just kind of continuing to move up that coaching ladder for yourself, having a bigger role with Seattle as the years go on, are probably some of your immediate goals?
Well, yeah, first off, I'm extremely thankful to be where I am right now in the present day. I'll never forget that. But as with any person, you know, I have goals, I have dreams, I have aspirations. And for me, I'd like to be a head football coach. I think it's just something that I'd like to do, and I want to keep continuing to climb the ladder. So my next step would be a full position coach, a defensive coordinator, and then move on to become a head coach somewhere. I think that it's something that I've always wanted to do. I remember as a little kid watching my father be a head coach of a high school basketball team. I just, you know, I want to be in that leadership role. I think that I have some good qualities to help others. So that is the ultimate goal. And I think there's no timetable for that. I think you just enjoy the process that you're going through. And that's what I'm just trying to do each and every day. I'm just trying to learn something new and to put another little tool that I can find from someone in my and keep growing each and every day. And hopefully somewhere down the road I'll get the opportunity to be a head football coach.
Well, it sounds like some great dreams of yours, and you're catching up with your childhood friend and Yogi Roth this weekend as well, which I'm sure is always a good time as well.
Oh, it's a blast. So he's out here crushing it with the Elite 11 football camp this time. So hopefully I'll get a chance to be around him after he's done coaching up some good quarterbacks, and we'll get a chance to sit back and recapture some glory days from our youth and get a chance to be around our families, and it'll just be a great time.
All right, make sure you guys throw the ball around. He's the receiver, you're the QB, and you work that out a little bit.
You know, I always tell him, man, you try to teach these quarterbacks. I'm like, man, you better start teaching wide receivers. But he does a heck of a job. Yeah, we'll have a little game of catch on the beach, and maybe we'll catch a few waves together.
All right. Well, it's always great talking to you. I know your family back in PA loves to hear your voice and loves to hear how you're doing. You talk to them often, but great for us to get some coaches and some people that followed you back in the day, and of course rooting for you currently as a coach with the Seattle Seahawks. John Glenn, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you. I certainly appreciate all the support from back home, and appreciate you wanting to talk to me. It's been a great time, and I'm just so fortunate to come from that area, and I always hold it true, and thankful that I'm a Northeastern PA born guy and just out here trying to make everyone proud. So thanks again. Appreciate you, Big John. Take care.
All right, John Glenn from the Seattle Seahawks here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.